Good afternoon, everybody. Guess what? If you haven't looked outside, it's a sunny one out there. I know you can't actually see out the window, but I hope that was really bright, and so you could get a real sense of how much light is coming through the window. Uh, Point is, it's sunny. Anyway, let's take a look at our 500 millibar chart, and right away we can see it's not super easy to see, but we do have kind of like a shortwave ridge right over us here with another little trough right behind it. And the ridge is going to hang around for a little while. You can see it a little bit better as we head into the evening. This right here is about 9 p.m. That ridge is right kind of here, right on top of us, but the trough is right behind it. And that will slowly start to move into the area as we head into the late night and into tomorrow morning. This right here is about 3 a.m. And then that is kind of right overhead, pretty much around morning time. Yeah, like 7, 8 a.m. here. So very well could be some precipitation in the early hours before that trough is immediately overhead, or so I would think. And then with the winds shifting more northwesterly as that moves overhead, I feel like that could also spur some more lake effect through the rest of the day tomorrow. That is just something that we are going to have to watch to find out. But something else I've noticed is as this starts to move by, we have another shortwave trough really starting to take hold off to our west here. And that could potentially do some things as we head into tomorrow night and into Tuesday morning. This is where it's looking like, 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. And I feel like this is certainly something to watch. Now, let's move to our 850 millibar chart. Again, wow, you can really see the ridge a lot more clearly along this axis, right overhead, pretty much now, at the 850 millibar level. And you can also really see the trough that's coming in behind it. So we're probably going to start to feel the impact from that as we start to head into the late evening into early nighttime hours. And especially as we head into the morning hours as well tomorrow. And then you can't really see the next system super well on here, but you can definitely see some troughing feature in Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri area here as we head into Tuesday morning. So maybe that'll be more of a thing south of us. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, let's take a dive to the surface. Again, you can see the area of high pressure down here along the Gulf Coast, and how it's kind of nubbing up towards our area where we've got that ridge. You can see the excuse me, absolute bomb of a low pressure system off the coast here and off the image. But so no, we don't really have to worry about that. But it's there. It's there. It's big boy. Here we do have that low pressure system associated with that first system that is going to start moving into our area and kind of be overhead by around tomorrow evening. And there will more than likely be a cold front passing behind that. So, unfortunately, it'll be getting a little chilly again. Woohoo! We love cold. If you can't tell, I don't like the cold, and I've been really sick of this winter. I I don't mind the snow, honestly, but the cold, I'm sick of it. Now we're a bit zoomed in here to take a look at our highs and lows. So today, we are likely to warm up into the 20s, the low 20s, mind you, but 20s nonetheless, before temperatures drop down again overnight. Looks like maybe we have a low right around the 10-degree mark. Maybe a little bit colder as we head into tomorrow morning, especially 9 to 8 degrees perhaps. Then things warm up, and perhaps even get a little bit warmer tomorrow. Here we are again back in the 20s, perhaps getting close to those mid 20s. The lighter shade of blue over just to our northwest here is 25 to 30. So we could potentially be looking at 24 degrees around here. It's certainly possible. It could get a little bit warmer. Excuse me. Again, like, compared to the weather we've been having, this is almost like a heat wave, 24 degrees. And then, of course, tonight, it does get a little bit chilly again tonight and as we head into Tuesday morning, but not quite as cold. Here it looks like we're going to be settling in the lower double digits, 13, 14 degrees. I guess more mid because we are pretty close to the blue here. So yeah, I would say we're probably going to be around 13, 14 degrees here. So not bad for the low temperature, honestly, for how things have been going. Now let's take a look at that precipitation, see what it's actually going to look like for now and for the rest of the day today. Pretty calm and clear, nothing really going on. Looks like that'll continue into the early overnight hours, but as we start to head in the morning, yep, we do have some lake effect starting to pop up along the lake shore. It does die down though, so it doesn't last long. Now there's still little specks, so it's probably not completely gone. It's probably just at a lower resolution that the ensemble model's not picking it up. So there's probably some small, thin, relatively weak snow band still ongoing here that we can't see. But for the most part, it doesn't look like anything super heavy, anything super major, or anything like long term. We can take a look at our probabilistic forecast just to confirm, and yeah, we're looking at a trace to an inch of snow, maybe. Some of the coastal areas perhaps getting 1 to 2. The low end amount, of course, is nothing across much of the area. Some of the coastal areas, their low end amount is about half an inch. But even the high end amount's not much, 1 inch here in Lansing. And even all up in Ludington, where it looks kind of like the worst is expected, their high end scenario is even still just around 3 to 4. That's, for the high end scenario. So we're really not looking at like too much snow. Now, of course, if you do happen to be out driving when one of those little heavier bands, even though it's not really going to be heavy at all, but like if you just happen to be driving when you get caught in one of those bands, of course it might be a little bit slick, but other than that, like it's not much. Now let's take a look at wind. Not a whole lot of it right now. It does perhaps pick up a little bit as we head into during parts of tomorrow morning. Sustained winds may be around 10 miles per hour, but it dies down again as we head into tomorrow evening and even through into Tuesday morning. So the windiest bit looks like it's going to be late morning tomorrow into the early afternoon, and then it dissipates as we head into the evening. Now, let's just take a look at wind gusts. I'm just taking it, yeah, again, it looks like the same story. It kind of peaks in the late morning and into the afternoon tomorrow, around maybe 20 miles per hour at most to our west, but mainly it looks like 15-ish miles per hour gusts at most for the area, and pretty calm otherwise for the rest of today until we start to head into the overnight hours. And as we start to head into Tuesday morning, it gets really calm as well. So not a whole lot to talk about on the wind side of things. And last but not least, let's look at the cloud cover. Again, it is like perfectly clear outside right now. This is showing no cloud cover at all over our area. And verification, just looking out the window, that looks right. I did not see a cloud anywhere. And it looks like that should continue pretty much through the day, although we do have some clouds start to build back into the area pretty much as the sun sets. Even through the night, though, it's not complete cloud cover. It's not 100%. So there will be some breaks in those clouds. Maybe you get to see the moon, maybe you don't. Of course, as we head into tomorrow morning, it gets cloudy again. Cloudy pretty much most of tomorrow, though it looks like as we head into tomorrow evening, and especially um, into Tuesday morning, we do see some breaks around the state. And I think, again, that's just going to, as the story has been for several days the last few weeks, it's just going to depend on where the heavier snow bands end up. If you end up under, if you happen to find yourself under one of those lake effect bands, of course it's going to be cloudy. But if you happen to be outside of them, you might see some sun. You might see some sun sticking through. That's about all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.